So I built a full stack AI video editor agent and I turned it into a SaaS so we could sell it to all of our AI agency clients. I've been using it myself for the past few days and it's already produced 25 short form videos from my YouTube long form, which has produced 100,000 views on all of my social platforms in just the first 3 days. And so let me show you guys the demo and then I'm going to explain exactly how it works. And then we're going to build it together. Everything that you're going to see in this video is going to be a free code base in the No Code Academy. You can come into the Academy, grab the code base, and start from where we leave off in this video. So guys, smash the video with a like, subscribe to the boy if you haven't already, and let's get into this demo. So let's say we wanted to turn this entire video into viral short form content. We would just copy this URL, head back over to our SaaS, and we would add in that convert to shorts. Once we click that, guys, the entire backend actually starts cooking. All right, guys, so we just got the output back, which created 6 short form videos from that one long form video. But it didn't just do that. It reframed the video by looking at the important parts of the horizontal video and turned it into a vertical format. It also added captions on the screen. It added a caption for the bio of the post, and it gave it a virality score by comparing the actual conversation that the video was about to trending topics and how the algorithm will actually receive this content. So it's literally a done for you service that creates multiple videos that you just have to upload for your clients or for your own workflows. And so yeah, guys, let me show you just what one of these videos look like.
The question of how many robots do you need to fully automate the supply chain? Like if you make 1 million humanoid robots the old fashioned way, can they run the entire supply chain?
And so you guys can see there that it's adding the different logos to the actual captions. It's actually zooming in on Sam Altman's face when it needs to actually create a better edited video. And this was all done in one workflow. So now guys, we're gonna jump into the presentation of how this is actually built, and then we're gonna start it from scratch. So guys, the video editor SaaS that we're gonna be working on today uses 3 different AI agents in the workflow. It uses a video analysis agent that takes the entire video and chunks it up into different sections that it thinks will be viral clips. It then grabs those videos and actually watches it and then reframes the different sections of the video to fit inside of a vertical format. Once that's done, guys, it then takes the transcript of the short form video that it created and creates a virality score so that the user, when they get the videos back, can actually see what the AI thought about the different videos that it created. Now, why is this so incredibly powerful for our AI agencies? And that's because we can build multiple SaaS projects and then combine them together depending on what the client wants. And that's what my winning premier offer is, called Creator OS. It is an operating system that is built specifically for any business. And so this SaaS would be very beneficial for a business that posts long form videos on YouTube so that they can streamline their short form content generation from those long form videos. Before we start the actual build, let's talk about the tech stack that's needed to actually build out this video editor SaaS. And you only really need 3 tools. So the first tool that we need is called Clap AI. Now, Clap AI is where those 3 video agents that we were talking about earlier actually live. So we need to activate those agents using their API. Now, the next one is a database, which is built directly into Replit. But if you guys don't want to use Replit, you can use any no-code app builder like Cursor, Lovable, Windsurf, Bolt for this exact same workflow. And you just need a Postgres SQL database. So guys, that sums up the intro on the demo. Let me throw on these blue light blockers. Let's get into this build. So step 1 is go and get that Clap API key. So we're going to open up the browser here. We're going to head to Clap API. So guys, once you sign up to Clap, this is the URL that you want to head to, which is /rest-API. And that's where you can generate your key. Once you generate that key, save it somewhere safe, and then we can actually start building right away. So we're going to go into Replit and we're going to start with our first prompt. And while the prompt starts building, you and I can actually go through the docs and actually understand how the AI actually works in this workflow. So first thing first, guys, is the prompt. To keep it pretty simple here, we're just going to click the improve prompt. Once it does that, guys, we're going to click start chat. Okay, beautiful. So now we're just going to click start chat. We're going to let the agent start cooking. All right, cool. So it created the plan. We're going to approve it. And now that the Replit agent is actually going to build out our app, we can start understanding how the workflow actually works. So the first thing that we want to do is actually set up the video to shorts workflow by letting the user send in a YouTube link. So the first step in the flow is to submit a video for processing processing. So the endpoint used is going to be this endpoint called tasks/video to shorts. And it actually gives you the full example right here. And so this page, for example, is what we would use to send the first step in the instructions to our agent. So we would copy this URL and we would head back to the Replit agent chat. And since the agent's gonna work, we can just start working on the prompt so that when the agent reaches the checkpoint, we have that message ready to go. So we're gonna say the workflow for users to turn videos to short form videos goes like this. Step 1, user uploads a YouTube video URL. Then we can head back to the docs to see what step 2 is. So step 2, the API starts polling the status. And so to simplify what that means, it's just gonna keep checking every like 10 to 15 seconds to see when that end video or when that status has been completed. And so that endpoint is this endpoint right here. And so we're just gonna let it know about that now. So we're gonna go back to the chat. We're gonna say step 2 is polling for the status of the video creations. Now guys, let's head over to find out where step 3 is. So step 3 actually lists out all of the generated shorts that are associated to the project. So the first step actually gives you the project ID and the folder ID. Once you have the folder ID, you can open up the folder to actually see what projects you have in there. So that is step 3, and so we can explain that step now. Step 3 triggers off when step 2 completes, which is called list generated shorts. And then we'll just paste that in, and then we'll move on to step 4. So step 4 says preview a short, but it says optional. And since we're gonna be downloading every generated short that the AI model does for us, we can actually skip the preview a short step because we can just go into straight up downloading all of the different videos. So instead of saying export a short, we're gonna say export all shorts that were generated one by one. And so we're gonna go back into the chat here and we're gonna say step 4, once the videos have been completed, I want you to systematically export all of the generated short form videos and download them and save them to the database so we can display them on the front end. And so to help you guys understand this a little bit more, because this step needs storing in the database, we can actually go into Creator OS, which is actually this app that we have that has this fully integrated. And if we show you guys the actual video to shorts workflow, these videos that are being created are being stored in our database directly in Replit. So if we open up the database and we click on the video to shorts agent, we can see all of the different videos that have been created. And so the next step that we're gonna have to do is create a table that has this type of schema. And so since we already have this schema, we can actually just show it what this schema is, right? So we can actually go into my data and copy and paste this schema over. But if we were starting from scratch, what we're gonna look for is the actual response from this workflow and then instruct it on how to store it in the database. So now that that's gonna be cooking, I can show you exactly how the flow would need to look like on the back end, which is your console of your application. And so let's say I wanted to actually just recreate the short form videos that I already created from this Sam Altman video. I would just send this into the convert to shorts URL and I would click this button. After I click this button, we can see in the console that the Clap AI model has started processing this project. And we gave it specific dimensions. And so this is where the real value lies. We are converting the horizontal video to vertical video by telling it what the width and height is. And then we're also instructing it on what the duration of these short form clips should be. So the minimum duration is 15 seconds, the maximum duration is 60 seconds, and the target amount of short form clips that we want the model to create is ranging from 5 to a maximum of 8 clips. Now the next two things here are reframe and emojis. So reframe means, do you want the AI model to look at the video and reconstruct it to fit the short form content, and we turn that to true so that it can actually convert these videos in the correct format. Then we add emojis to our captions and we can remove all silences and all that fun stuff as well. And so what has happened now, guys, is step 2 that we are now explaining to our agent in this workflow, which is actually polling for the results. And so here we can see this get request where it's actually polling for the response. Once the polling finishes up, I'll show you what happens next. And while we're waiting to show you guys how the polling actually works, the agent for our app has actually finished its work. So we're going to now send in this prompt. But since this is a pretty strenuous prompt, we're also going to actually add the URL of the thing that we're explaining. And so if we go back to the top of the Generate Shorts page and we refresh, we can now grab this URL and head back to the chat and paste it in. Now we can click Get Text Content. What that does is it scrapes all the HTML on that URL and it explains it in a very simple way in Markdown. See if at the ending of this file is a .md file, and that is one of the easiest ways for the Replit agent to understand any website. And so now that we have this full prompt in, guys, we're going to say, tell me your understanding and please implement. And we're just going to send that in. Another the cool thing about this flow, guys, is that we can see the video that we have sent in for conversion has started, and it also tells you the time that it's going to be ready at. So right now it's 1:56 p.m. and it's telling us that it's going to be ready at 2:04 p.m. So if our user was actually using Creator OS, they would actually know when to come back and check for those finished videos. Okay, awesome. So after setting that prompt to our agent, it says it understands the workflow perfectly. It read the entire documentation, and now it's just asking for that API key that we grabbed earlier in the video. And so you want to just grab that API key that you stored somewhere safe and you want to paste it in this value and click continue. And now if we open up a secrets tab on the right hand side, we can see in our application that that API key has now been added, meaning chances are this page will actually work. And so now we just need to wait for the agents to finish its final setup and we can start testing. And this, guys, is another very important part of learning no-code development or vibe coding, because debugging is one of the hardest things to do. And so my goal is to show you guys every prompt that we have in this build so you can see how I debug it when we run into errors. And so while the agent's cooking, guys, this is why I like to say the end sentence of tell me your understanding and please implement, because here in the first part of the response, we can see that it actually genuinely understood fundamentally what we wanted it to do, right? So step 1, user uploads video. Step 2, we start polling for the analysis to complete. Step 3, we generate all the shorts in a list. Step 4, we export all of them, save them to the database, and display them on the front end. And so since it showed us that understanding, I feel confident to move forward. But let's say it said something that wasn't correct. I would just click this pause and I would reattempt this prompt and I would send it in again. All right, guys, so update just fired through. It built out the database, it built out the polling, and so now we can just test it out. So we're gonna go grab that exact same YouTube video that we've been demoing all day, and we're going to put it into the YouTube URL chat, and we're gonna click analyze. So it said your video is being processed with the Clap API. So that's a good sign. We could look on the back end and we could see that we got an error. So the error says error processing video fetch failed. So what this means, guys, is that it was expecting for the generated videos to come immediately, but it's going to take some time. And so we have to tell the agent that so the next time it tries to make this service, it doesn't immediately pull for the response, it waits. And so we need to give it a projection or how long it typically takes to actually produce videos. And so this is where I can help you guys, because I already built this out, and we can tell that it takes around 10 to 15 minutes to generate all these videos. And so right now it is 2:04 p.m. And so on the Creator OS version, we could see in the back end that it's starting to export these videos to the database, and it's on project number 4 of 6. So in a couple more minutes, the test on my side will actually be finished, but we need to instruct your guys' side to actually do that same instruction. And so what we're gonna say in the chat here is I was able to add my YouTube URL, but when I clicked analyze, the console said this error. And we would go to the console and we would just copy everything that we see here from the error sign all the way down, and we would paste it in. And we can basically say, like, what you have to do is poll for 10 to 15 minutes for the generated videos. And one thing I don't like on the front end is that this says analyze instead of convert to shorts. So we need to change that button so it makes more sense. So we're also going to say, please change the analyze button to generate shorts. So we're going to send in that prompt. We're going to wait for a bit and we'll see what happens. And so the issue is that the Clap API domain is not resolving. And so what we can actually do is tell it all of those domain endpoints specifically. And so these are the end point of the domain, but there's also a beginning part of this domain. And so what we have to do is go to introduction. And so in the introduction, we found the base URL. And so this base URL is the beginning part of every single API call. And so we can go back to the agent and we can be like, the API call endpoint for the Clap API services is this. And then so we can also explain it what the extensions are for each step. Step 1's extension to this URL is, and then we'll go back to Clap, we'll go to step 1, and we'll grab that endpoint. So we'll grab tasks/video to shorts. Then we'll head back to our build. We'll say the step 1's extension to this URL is that. Step 2 extension to this URL is, we'll head back to Clap, we'll go to step 2, and we'll grab that endpoint. And we can also see the different types of requests. So the first request is a post request, meaning we are sending information to this API. But the next request is a GET request, meaning we're asking for some result from the same API. And so we also wanted to let it know that that second step is a GET request. And so in that chat, step 2 extension to this URL is this. Step 3 extension to the URL is, and we'll head back to Clap. We'll go to step 3. We'll grab this one, another GET request, and we'll paste it in. And we'll do that for the next 2 steps. And then once the agent's done thinking, we will send in that prompt. So here we have export shorts and step 5. Let's go grab that and we'll send that in. So now the order of steps that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to wait for the agent to finish up its previous work. I'm going to test to see if it fixed it by itself. If it didn't fix it by itself, then we're immediately going to send in that prompt. And so it looks like it just finished up that previous checkpoint. And so it looks like we can test it out shortly. So I'm going to go grab that same URL and awesome. So it finished up that checkpoint. We're going to refresh the preview page. We're going to send in that URL. It now says generate shorts and we're going to click generate. So it says video analysis started again. We can look inside the console and now we can see that the console doesn't have any of those error messages. Now the difference between what you're seeing in your console versus my console here is that my console has more logs. And so the way that you can see the information that is being sent in these requests is by opening up the logs or by opening up the information that is being sent, because this right here, guys, is the actual information that is being sent from our system to the API. And so what we need to do is open it up if we needed more information. But here we can see that it actually did move on to step 2, which is polling for the responses. So step 1 was create the task. It did that successfully. Step 2 was poll for the task. And so now to double check this, to guarantee that it's actually working, if we just head over to Clap AI's backend, we can actually see if that video started to generate. And here we can see that it's at 12, 13%, soon hopefully going to 14%, which means that the generation has officially started. So everything is working well. All right, guys, so on the back end of Clap, it says that the video has finished creating the shorts. And so if we head to our app here, we can see in the back end, it now says generated 7 projects. Now, the only thing that has to happen now, guys, is actually it needs to download those projects. So right now it says that it's exporting all at the same time. And if we could actually pull this off, that would be pretty nuts, because this has been only about 10 prompts to build this in. So let's see if it works. And look at that. So in the console here, guys, it says that the status of some of them are ready, and it also has the title of the shorts. So one of them's called The Future of Humanoid Robots in Supply Chain Automation. The other one's called The Pivotal Moments That Led to the Creation of OpenAI. The Future of AI Companies with Memory Features. The Rapid Evolution of AI from ChatGPT 3 to PhD level intelligence. So this is a really, really good sign. We just need to now wait for it to say it's completely done. And while that's happening, guys, we can go inside of the database to see if any of this is actually saving. And here we can see that the videos are actually being stored pretty well, and it's being stored under the same project ID. So one project ID is creating 6 short form videos with its own title, with a duration, and all of the other information. We could actually add more into it, like the virality score and the AI analysis and all that other stuff. And so what we need to now see on the console is when this polling completely finishes. All right, guys, so here's we can see at the bottom of the console that all of the processing has finished, and we refreshed the screen on the front end. We should see all of these generated short form videos. And okay, here we go. And in the bottom of each thumbnail, we can see it has the generated virality score. So the first video has a virality score of 75, then 85, 85, 88, 85, and 65. So really quick, let's open them up. Let's see what we get. And we can see that the buttons to actually watch the videos are not working. So now we want to verify that the videos that are being saved are real. So here in the generated shorts, we can see there's a column called video URL. So what we want to do really quick is just make sure that it's working. So we're going to just copy this URL that it's stored, and we're just going to open it up in a new window to see if the actual video has been made, and it has. Okay, so we can check out this video really quick.
I mean, what were some of the decisions early that seemed small that turned out to be incredibly pivotal?
I mean, just deciding to do it was a big one.
So what's incredible from what you guys can see here is the captions wasn't done by us, the AI reframe wasn't done by us, and the actual concept or topic that the people are talking about in this clip wasn't decided by us either. And so the 3 AI agents that I was talking about in the beginning of this video that actually create that end-to-end workflow is now actually integrated to our application. And so now we do need to add one more prompt, which is actually letting the viewers watch their videos and download them. So that's what we're going to do. We don't actually have to send that API call instructions that we were talking about because it fixed that problem. And so now we can say, okay, great. It looks like the generated shorts are being made and stored in the database. But when I tried to watch one of the videos in the front end dashboard, the video did not load. And we're just gonna take a screenshot of what section of the page that was in. And then we can also drag that over. And the other thing that we can do in terms of making this thing look better is actually adding the first frame as the thumbnail of the preview, because this preview is just some nonsense. It's just like a, random picture that I was randomly generated. But if we go to like the actual working demo here, we can see that it has the title being displayed. It has the first frame being shown. And so ideally you want it to look like this when you're ready to, sell it to other people. And so what we're going to work on right now is to get the video to work with that preview frame. Okay, it looks great. The generated shorts are being made and stored in the database, but when I tried to watch one of the videos in the front end dashboard, the video did not load. Also, all of the generated videos in the dashboard are showing the same thumbnail image. We instead want to show the preview thumbnail as the first frame in the actual video that was generated. And then again, please explain your understanding and implement, and we'll see what we get. And while that's cooking, guys, we can talk about the difference between this project being a B2B app and a B2C app. So right now I'm building it as a B2B app because it can be used as a tool or a feature that we sell in our AI agency. And so Creator OS is our base model offer for our AI agency, which is an operating system for any business that is customized for them. But let's say they're also a YouTuber that is running the business. Well, this workflow specifically would be very beneficial for them. And so this would be one of the products that we offer in the entire Creator OS system for that specific client. And so that's why I'm building it as B2B right now. But if I was building it as B2C, we would then have to track the actual usage of every single user because this costs money. And so if we go to the Clap API backend and we actually look at the usage that we've been doing, we can see all of the API usage that was actually generated. And so there was 132 video inputs so far that generated 309 shorts, and that all in all costed us $170. And so the math that you can do here is the generated shorts divided by the cost. And so if we have 309 videos divided by around $170 in costs, so we could do 170 divided by 309, we could see that each generated video costs us around 55 cents. And so this is our cost out of pocket. And so we can say for our users, they can generate up to 20 short form videos for the base plan. And so that would cost us a maximum of $11 per user. And so we can charge that price point anything above this $11 threshold. So I would charge that at probably like $15 or something like that. And then I would also add some like extra, scaling costs. So if you want to then make 100 videos or 1,000 videos, then the pricing goes up. But I don't really care for the B2B because for the B2C version of this, because we can build this directly into any operating system for any clients. And in my opinion, that is way, way more powerful because instead of selling this project for $20 a month, you could sell it for $5,000 upfront and $1,000 a month recurring. And so It's just the way better offer. And this is one tool that will be associated to your entire stack of AI products. Think of yourself as Thanos, and you're basically trying to just stack on all of the best AI products to then offer your clients so that they are just absolutely blown away when you have your calls or your demos or your presentations. And so while the agent's cooking, we can actually see on the right-hand side just how nice it made the UI now. We can see the first frame of every single one of these videos, and maybe we can already watch it. Let's see.
I'm interested in the question of how many robots do you need to...
And there we go. We can already watch the video and we can immediately download it. And so like, again, if this was for a YouTuber client, they would be able to immediately download this video, head over to the upload and schedule posts page, select every single social platform, and then immediately upload it to all platforms. And so the user experience in this workflow saves them hours a day in two different ways, in editing videos and uploading videos. So instead of having to manually turn these into shorts, and instead of having to manually upload to all social platforms, both of those processes have been streamlined. So now I'm going to explain how you can gain access to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GitHub. I'm going to then create a new repository in this GitHub, and then I'm going to paste it there. So I'm going to click create repository, and just like that, we have the video to shorts repository. And so now we can actually push it to that repository. So here we're going to click push branch as origin main. And now if I go over to GitHub, we can see that the entire code base that I just built in this video has been saved to our GitHub. So now let's say I'm selling this exact system to another client. What I would do is I would go into this code base, I would copy the URL, and I would head back to Replit and I would build the project again. But this time I'm building from where I left off previously. So if we click import code or design and we click on GitHub, I can actually just paste in that exact repo that we just saved. And so right there, it identified the repo that we imported, and now we can just click import from GitHub, and this new video to shorts system could be built entirely for another client. And that is exactly how we are absolutely crushing it with Creator OS, because this system has like 10 different software projects put together and like 100 different AI agents put together. And then depending on who we're selling the system to, we choose and fine tune these systems and go from there. And so the video to shorts agent that we worked on today, guys, is just one massive, massive tool that I was really, really happy to build and show you guys today, because if you show these to your clients on top of everything else, you guys will start crushing it as well.